How much drugs could get you a death penalty? Let's talk about it. In this video, let's talk about 4 things. First, what are the offenses and what are the exceptions? Then, what is the difference between a smaller quantity and commercial quantity? Third, what is the punishment under the NDPS Act? And finally, what is the procedure of bail under this NDPS Act? If we see section 8 of the NDPS Act, it predominantly penalizes someone who is involved with the drugs for the purpose of selling it, purchasing it, possessing it, using it, transporting it, etc. Now, what are the exceptions? If we see section 8 of the NDPS Act, it clearly states out that if someone is using these drugs for medical purposes or scientific purposes, such person would be exempted from any offenses. But here is a catch. For that exemption, that person would need to prove that he was authorized, he was licensed to do such activity at first place. Now let's come to the second point. What is the difference between the smaller quantity and the commercial quantity? In the news channel, we have been hearing these terms so many times that we have wondered what is the difference between these quantity and why is this necessary at first place. Now we are talking about the differences between the commercial quantity and the smaller quantity. Like why? We are discussing it because it is very important. It is very important because if we see the punishment under this act, it directly depends upon the quantum of the drugs that has been found. Hence, if someone is found with the smaller quantity, the punishment would be less. But in the case of commercial quantity, the punishment would be much graver. Now we have understand the importance of this classification. But if we see the NDPS Act, we won't be able to find such list. So the first question that comes is that who decide this list and where this list is? Well, the answer is central government. Central government through the mean of notification come up with this list and it decide that how much quantity of a certain drugs would be quantified as a smaller quantity or a commercial quantity. If you want to have a look on this list, you can visit the link in the bio. You would be able to access it. Now, as you can see, there are 238 such drugs which has been listed by the central government. But for the sake of brevity, let's talk about these three. Cocaine, 2 grams smaller quantity, 100 grams commercial quantity. Heroin, 5 grams smaller quantity, 250 grams commercial quantity. And charas, 100 grams smaller quantity and 1 kilogram commercial quantity. Now let's talk about the punishments. If a person is found purchasing, selling, possessing or using drugs in the smaller quantity, then the punishment could be of 1 year or fine up to 10,000 or in some cases both. Now what if we increase this quantity? We increase this quantity from like greater than the smaller quantity but lesser than the commercial quantity. What would happen in such case? In such case, the punishment would be of up to 10 years and fine up to 1 lakh rupees. Now let's talk serious. Let's talk about commercial quantity. Here, the punishment is decided in between 10 years to 20 years and fine up to 2 lakh rupees. Now what would happen if someone is convicted? He spent his time in jail, he comes out of the jail and he start doing it again and he's caught again. Then what will happen for such repeated offenders? For repeated offenders, we have section 31. Now what section 31 states here is that for the repeated offense, the punishment would be enhanced up to 1.5 times the maximum punishment for such offense. For example, the repeated offender here has committed an offense under a particular section where the maximum punishment prescribed is of 1 year. Then for the subsequent offense, it would be 1 year 6 months. For example, previously the fine imposed was 5,000 rupees. This time it would be 5,000 into 1.5. So that happened with the repeated offenders. Now let's come to the main question. Can a person be hanged till death for any offense under this act? Well, if we see section 31A, it does talk about it. This section was introduced in year 1989. When it was introduced, it mandated the death penalty for repeated offenders. Like it was mandatory to impose death penalty in such situation. Then later on, there was 2001 amendment. Under this amendment, the death penalty was narrowed down. It was narrowed down to some certain offenses only. Then came 2014 amendment. Under this amendment, the judge was given the discretionary power to decide if death penalty should be given. A judge could give death penalty as an option, while there is an option for 30 years as well. And death penalty is for repeated offenders who has committed offense under some certain sections. But let's wait a second, like seriously wait a second. Like what am I talking about? Like let's rewind it out. Now what section 31 states here is that for the repeated offense, the punishment would be enhanced up to 1.5 times the maximum punishment for such offense. Now, I did say that section 31 would be applicable for repeated offender. Then why death penalty came for repeated offender? If we see section 31, it is a general clause. It would be applicable in general for all the offenses. But when we come to 31A, it is special. It will be applicable to some certain sections. It will be applicable to some certain offenses. And for such offenses, it will overlap 31. In such situation, if the offense has been repeated, then only section 31A would be applicable. These are section 19, 24, 27A and any other offenses which deals with the commercial quantity of drugs. In only this situation, if the offense has been repeated, then only section 31A would be applicable where the death penalty has been prescribed. If we give a plain reading to section 37 of the NDPS Act, it clearly prescribed two words, cognizable and non-bailable. Cognizable means that an authority could go and arrest someone without any need of a warrant. He would not require any warrant from the magistrate to go and arrest. He could just simply go and arrest that person because it's a cognizable offense. And the second wording here is non-bailable. So if we see, a plain reading could give an impression that the person could not get bail only, but it's not true. In bailable offense, the person has right to go to court and claim the bail, while in non-bailable offense, there is no such right. It is upon the discretion of the court. So let's see what kind of discretionary power here the court would apply. If an accused has been alleged to be dealing with the commercial quantity of drugs, or for any offenses under section 19, 24, 27A of the Act, then unless these three conditions are fulfilled, such person would not get any bail from the court. The first condition is that the public prosecutor should be opposing such bail plea. The second condition is that court have reasonable ground to believe that such person is not guilty. And the third one is that the court feels that there is no likelihood of any possibility that such person after getting bail would commit any further crime. It was the third condition because of which RN Khan didn't get bail from the special court. In case this video gave any value to you, consider liking this video, and in future if you want to see more such content, then consider subscribing. Thank you.